Hey team, Chris here. Hey, I'm going to do a really quick video lesson for you guys on how all weight loss works, because it's come to my attention that I haven't made this super clear enough. So I just thought I'd do a quick, simple, clear visual demonstration. Can you guys see that? How do I do it there? Hope you can see anyway. Let me know if you can't. Really quick, clear visual demonstration to show you how all weight loss works and what you must achieve in order to achieve weight loss. So us as humans, in our human body, we burn calories for energy. So most of the calories we burn each day, so in a 24-hour period, are simply to keep us alive. So heart beating, eyes blinking, blood pumping around, all of those kinds of things. If we were hooked up in a hospital bed, we would burn, let's say for a small woman around 1,200 calories per day. We call this our base metabolic rate, and it's the very basic level just to keep us alive. From there, when we get up out of bed, out of sleep, then we burn more calories by moving around, and then we go to our exercise session, we burn even more calories. And over a 24-hour period, we burn a big chunk of calories per day. Let's use Betty as an example, and let's say Betty burns 2,000 calories per day. We're going to imagine this is Betty's energy tank. Let's just imagine it's inside Betty's body. It doesn't work that way, but for the visual, let's just say this is a 2,000 calorie energy tank, like would be in a car with a 60-litre fuel tank. This is Betty's tank. Betty needs to put in the same amount of calories in order to maintain her weight. She doesn't gain anything, she doesn't lose anything, it's just that weight maintenance. So let's just demonstrate this. This is all the calories that are going into this 2,000 calorie tank. And it's right there on calorie balance. I hope you guys can see that there on the video. This means weight maintenance, no gain, no loss. Betty's happy, she likes the weight that she's at, she burns enough calories, she puts in enough calories, she's all good. Now, if Betty wanted to lose weight, what she needs to do is to create a calorie deficit. So, let me just pour that back in there for now, just to demonstrate. So this 2,000 calorie tank of Betty's, she's now going to put in a little bit less calories than she burns each day. Let's imagine she puts in 1,500 for an example. So that creates, see this space here? See that space? That creates a 500 calorie deficit that has to come from somewhere. Like, it just has to. She's burnt 2,000, she's only put in 1,500. It just has to come from somewhere. And this body fat, this on our body here, is actually our reserve energy tank. That's what it's there for. In times of famine, if we ever need it, this is where we pull our energy from. So this 500 deficit will either have to come from two places. From our reserve energy tank, which is body fat. Yay, Betty's happy because she wants to drop a little bit of excess body fat. Or it can come from our lean muscle mass, which is a boo. Betty doesn't want that because lean muscle mass keeps us strong and it keeps us firm and it burns extra energy, and all sorts of reasons that I might pop a link to below this video. So in order to create a calorie deficit but make sure it comes from body fat, in this 1,500 calorie budget here, Betty needs to make sure that she consumes adequate protein. So let's say, I don't know, a third, just to throw out numbers, is from protein sources. This naturally limits the amount of carbohydrates and fat that Betty can consume. Not because they're evil or they automatically turn to fat or anything like that, but just simply so she can fit carbs, fat and protein all in her new budget where she's created this deficit. Now, Betty could also create a deficit by, instead of consuming less, by burning more. So instead of now burning 2,000 calories per day, Betty now decides to train for a marathon, and she now burns, let's say, 2,800 calories per day. She's got a bigger energy tank, but she still puts in, she doesn't compensate, she doesn't reward herself, she still puts in, this is now 2,800 calorie tank, She still puts in her regular 2,000. She's created a calorie deficit by moving more. Now, most people do a little bit of both. They move more, and either via exercise or just not sitting as much, and that burns more, and they consume less. And that then creates the calorie deficit, and that then results in weight loss. We know that we need protein in here. What else do we want to put in here? Mostly foods that keep us full. Well, that would just make sense, wouldn't it? If we want to sort of reduce the amount of calories we have, but we don't want to be going hungry or have lack of energy, mostly we want to choose foods that keep us full. And those mostly are foods that are high in nutrients, you know, lots of plant foods, fibre, lean protein foods, carbohydrates with fibre. You know, really we get a good value for our calorie spend. In my coaching program, I like to call those value calories. You get a good value, good fullness for your calorie spend. That doesn't mean that you can't every now and then have treats, you know, cake, chips, chocolate, alcohol, whatever, but obviously we want to keep those to a minimum, and we know that they're not going to keep us as full as, you know, a different kind of food. So how much of a calorie deficit do we need to lose 1 kilo of body weight? Well, you're not going to like this, but it's 7,000 calorie deficit. So what most traditional weight loss plans do is to chip away every day at, you know, close to 1,000 calorie deficit. That's, as I said, that's usually by burning a little more and consuming a little less. And then over the week, that 7,000 calorie deficit equals a 1 kilo weight loss per week. So that's the traditional model. The 5-2 fasting is becoming a lot more popular. What that does is it has a calorie balance each day. Has a calorie balance most days of the week, 5 days of the week, where you don't lose any weight, 5 days of the week. And then on 2 days of the week, you eat very little, but not none at all, very little, and you create a really big calorie deficit. And this energy around the side, this is our reserve energy here. This is our excess body fat. It has to pull from here. So on 2 days of the week, we create this big calorie deficit on the 5-2 protocol. So this is, you know, a lot of people really like this protocol for willpower preservation because they only need willpower on 2 days of the week. But please know, no matter which protocol you take, you need to create a calorie deficit in order for weight loss to happen. No calorie deficit, no weight loss, even if you're exercising and eating healthy. And calorie surplus, so let's just view a surplus, even if these are all healthy foods, doesn't matter what it is, surplus equals weight gain, equals going into here, going into this reserve energy, this excess body fat. I just wanted to make that clear. Now, I know I'm going to have people come and tell me, Chris, I lost weight and I didn't create a calorie deficit because I didn't count calories, I didn't know anything about them. All I did was, you know, went low fat or went low carb or insert whatever plan that they're going to tell me. That's all I did. I didn't create a calorie deficit. Well, I think that's fantastic because what that person has done is accidentally created a calorie deficit. And an accidental weight loss when you're not even focusing on calories or on weight loss is fantastic, and I'm all for it. You know, you train for a marathon or you discover salsa dancing and you burn more calories or whatever it might be and you accidentally lose weight. I think that's awesome. But it doesn't mean that you didn't create a calorie deficit. You just didn't know that you did. You accidentally created it. And I think that it's helpful for you to know that even though you didn't count them, and you don't have to count them, by the way, but you need to just know the basics, even though you didn't know anything about them, that is how it happened. And even if you went paleo or vegetarian or low carb or low fat or whatever it might be, you need this deficit. This is a must. This is how all weight loss happens. And I just think it's my job after 20 years in the industry just to make this super, super clear, because people will make it so complicated and they want to combine foods and eat at certain times and exercise at certain times, and all of those things are tiny, tiny, tiny little rocks, and the calorie deficit with adequate protein is like a big, huge rock, like 90%, 95% of the equation. So hit me with any comments in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you could see my little props here, and let me know what you think. But I really wanted to make that super clear. You don't have to count every calorie in, calorie out. We're guessing anyway. It's a pretty good guess, but we are guessing, so don't get super strict on it. But becoming calorie aware is probably one of the best skills that you can do, and it will last you a lifetime. Okay, team, have a great evening, and I'd love to hear from you on the replay in the comments section below. See ya.